So I would say it's time for black people to start reclaiming their spiritual systems. They're not bad.
The whole premise of this conversation is, why are we worshiping gods that don't look like us? How did that happen? And what's the remedy for that?
I hear what you're saying. Everyone's
God
looks like them. The Chinese God looks like, Buddha looks Chinese, Krishna looks in Asian, Jesus looks white, and Muslims say Muhammad doesn't, there should be no images of him. But when you read the hadiths of the color of Muhammad, they say he was a white man.
Right.
So I'm saying, so who's your God? Because I believe that everyone is allowed to have their God. I just think that you will get spiritually bamboozled if you don't have your God in your image, because you're now going to someone else for your spiritual awakening.
So what do you think who do black people go to then?
So black people have always had their spiritual systems. They've had them since before you were Christian. We've had them since before we were Muslim. We've had them since before we called ourselves Hebrew. We've always had our own spiritual systems. However, because of these Abrahamic religions, those systems have been deemed as bad. They've been deemed as voodoo. They've been deemed as black magic.
What are those things that I don't actually know?
Right, so you have, okay, so if you want to look at, we can take Ifa, for example. Ifa, I-F-A, right?
All right, so you see what he's saying, right? Like, shout out to Ifa. Ishe Shelagba. We're super happy about that. It's nice to see people recognizing folks out here. Anyway, he's going deep into this realm of black folks taking control of ourselves, being ourselves, and not imitating other people just trying to get by. Like, why would you do that? So he's got this whole thing that he's going through, and here's another clip. I just want you guys to take a look at it.
That's a spiritual system from Nigeria, for like the Yoruba peoples of Nigeria, right? And within that system, they have the Orishas. And the Orishas are like, if you want to look at them like, the patron saints in Catholicism.
Yeah.
So you have your different quote unquote deities or people that, or gods that they, or principles that they deify. But when you go into a lot of African spiritual systems, you find that it's not a surface level spiritual system. It goes quite deep. So for instance, like they will have symbols, animals, things that represent something. So, but what happens with an Abrahamic religious mind? People say, "Oh, he's worshipping a fox. He's worshipping a wolf. He's worshipping a falcon," because they will see those symbols, and it's like, no, those will represent symbols or principles. Sorry, they will represent principles in the spiritual system. So, for instance, people have seen the eye of Ra. And they'd want to say, "Oh my God, that's Illuminati, bruv. That's Illuminati, bruv." And so, but it comes from the African Nile Valley.
Right.
Now, what was the eye? The eye was the eye of the falcon, right?
Okay, I know exactly what you're on about.
Right, so the eye of the falcon, right?
It's got like a little flick on it.
With a little flick on it, right? So it was the eye of the falcon. So why was that so heavily used within the spiritual system? It was used within the spiritual system because the people of the Nile Valley used to watch the falcon in the sky. Now, the falcon's eye had 2 eyelids, and it's the only animal, from my knowledge, don't quote me actually, that can look directly into the sun. We can't look directly into the sun for too long because we start and it would swoop down, get its prey. And they said, you know what? If there's any eye on this earth, which is the best eye, it would be the eye of the falcon. So they would say, you got the eye of the falcon.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it would be a deeper meaning. If they could see, someone could see something that no one else could see, they'd be like, that man's got the eye of the falcon. But the thing is, when I say that, as a black person, you already know because of how we speak or our Ebonics. If we speak in Ebonics, we speak in metaphorical speech.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So why would our spiritual systems not be the same metaphor and philosophical speech? It's not as simple as a lot of people see, because a lot of people are coming from a Abrahamic religious standpoint, and everything outside of that is the devil or voodoo or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I would say it's time for black people to start reclaiming their spiritual systems. They're not bad. So I'm just saying, I think it's time for black people to start reclaiming their spiritual systems.
So you see, being from the Caribbean, so what is the spiritual system within, outside the stuff? Because I don't actually know.
Looking at it from a Western point of view, you could see various people, for instance, Nanny Maroon, who some people may not know about. She had her own spiritual system within Jamaica that was taken from, or had the lineage from somewhere in Africa. But what I'm trying to say is, for me, a lot of the time people say that they think I'm an atheist, and I'm not. Because the way I speak about religion, they say, "Oh, you don't like God and you think God doesn't exist." No, not at all. I think the divine entity, the divine source, the divine energy that is, can be accessed via everywhere, because people say that God is limitless. That's what people say. There's no limit to God. But then I say, so why would God now limit itself to a religious book then? If it's limitless, why is it limited to a Quran? Why is it limited to a Torah? Why is it limited to a Bible? Why is it limited to... Wouldn't God be able to be accessed, this unlimited entity, wouldn't it be able to be accessed from anywhere and everywhere?
Yeah.
That's what I would think. So I'm a pantheist myself.
From religions and whatnot, how do they look at it then? Because I don't know. Like, how do you say, like, certain Christians or certain, like, other religions, how do they look at
what?
Like, other religions?
Well...
Do they, like, take note of them? Do they write them off and say, this is this? I don't know, innit?
All religions are written off because their God is a true God.
And that's it. Is that how they look at it?
Yeah, like, my God's a true God. Everything else outside of that is paganism or...
Yeah, because I was just asking, because obviously you go to Speaker's Corner, so you're actually having debates with these people. So I would love to know what their kind of viewpoints are outside of their religions.
When I told them I was a pantheist, right, the people that were there, when I told them about the spiritual systems that should be looked into, I'm a pagan, I'm a shaitan, I'm a heathen, and all these kind of things. And I'm like, Raj, you know what's so interesting? You see, in my spiritual system, I ain't got derogatory names for you, you know? I don't have them because I just do what I do. Yeah. But you've taken time out, or your religion's taken time out, to make derogatory names towards anyone that's not of your religion. And you're telling me that this is divine. That's not divine to me. Because I would say true confidence in your God, in your entity, in your energy, in your spirit, or your whatever it is, you just do what you do.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even care about anyone
else's beliefs
or
opinions.
You don't care. You're so confident in your own thing. Like, you're doing this show right now. You've got confidence in it. You might watch other people's podcasts or whatever.
I ain't watching it like that.
Yeah, but you're not going to be like, you see them man there? Them man are X. Yeah. That means you're taking time out of doing what you got to do to make derogatory names for the people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, essentially. And I'm just like, no, that's not divine. That's not divine to me.
I don't know what you're dealing with out there in your world. How is that affecting you? Has serving a god of a foreign entity served you thus far? And if not, why would you continue? Whatever it is, as always, what do you think? Right? Leave it in the comments. I give you peace. Habiwa.